Oh, oh, I've done a lot of community organizing work involving land rights in particular, because Gullah Geechees, that is our greatest battle, is making sure that we maintain land ownership. We have owned this land by deed since 1862. Many Gullah Geechee families, our deeds date back to 1862 during the U.S. Civil War, coming right out of being called chattel and being listed next to pieces of property as a piece of property yourself. We became property owners. And so we've had an onslaught of people wanting to make the area resort and gated areas, and so I've had to fight a great deal against that and against cultural genocide that was being caused by the displacement of Gullah Geechee people as a result. Currently, I am a member of the Directorate of the International Human Rights Association for American Minorities and the International Human Rights Council. And so I have served on behalf of the Gullah Geechee Nation as well as those organizations that are NGOs. IRAM is actually a non-governmental organization with consultative status with the United Nations. In 1999, I became the first Gullah Geechee ever in the history of the world to speak before the United Nations on behalf of Gullah Geechees. And I spoke at the Human Rights Commission in Geneva, Switzerland. So I still go to the United Nations in both New York and in Switzerland, and I've often gone to other NGO conferences in other parts of the world, such as Paris, France, at UNESCO's building, and so on, to continue to make sure that the Gullah Geechee story is argued for, and that it is, we do interventions at the UN to intervene on behalf of this, and then to also work with other indigenous peoples of the world to help all of us survive, especially with the small island governments. Because with us, we're not now just faced with cultural genocide issues that government bodies cause by trying to disperse you so that they can let corporations come on your land and things like that, but we're also faced now with climate change issues. And because we live directly in the Atlantic Ocean, this is another issue that I've been working on with the United Nations over the past 4 or 5 years now, attending a lot of the conferences that relate to this matter and how we need to put more pressure on the Western society for them to change their ways and the behaviors on land so that we can kind of decrease the carbon emissions, so that we can kind of stave off some of the climate change issues. Oh, 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 oh.